Are you ready? The Kornelia Stephanie Show, Wake Up to Love, your call to action. Join Kornelia as she empowers others to live heaven on earth. Kornelia teaches listeners how to be the authority over yourself, embracing your inner guru. Feel yourself uplifted into limitless expansion, integrating ease and grace in a changing world. This show will cover topics such as unconditional love, your physical body, how to be in extraordinary relationships, create financial and emotional wealth, embracing entrepreneurship in the new earth. Welcome, everyone. It's Stories of Hope on the Kornelia Stephanie Show today. I'm so excited and honored you're here. As always, I love introducing you to these amazing people that have transformed their lives, helping others transform their lives, and are changing the world. So let me introduce you to our first guest. He is Krisztian Riez, and he is the founder of the Mind Bloom platform. From a young age, he loved gaming. And like many others out there, he suffered from mental health issues for many years and used gaming as an escape. He moved to Australia for over a decade to focus on himself. And he developed new skills and behaviors from practitioners that dealt with the core root of the mental health challenges and trauma. Today, he's here on the other side saying to you that it's okay. He knows what it feels like being in those shoes, walking in those shoes. And he wants to help and give back to those who are suffering, just like he was. So he decided to create this platform to help give direction and choice to people who need it but don't know where to go for help. I want to point out to you that in this bio, he talked about how he got help from practitioners. Sometimes we just need that help to get to the root core, and that we can discover what is there and why are we running away? Why are we not looking at this situation, and how can we make our life better? So welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, good. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we're going to talk about this. So I'm interested, with everything that you said from your Mind Bloom. Am I saying that right, Bloom?
Yeah, so we're having that platform starting up right now in the beta testing, and we're excited. We're getting great results. So we're just running ahead, and hopefully we should be up and running for the full public by May.
Good. Well, keep us informed. We definitely want to support you, and also what this community is about. But first, let's get into your story about. Okay, so you had mental illness. You were escaping, right?
Yeah. Yes. So as a child, sometimes some children deal with a lot of trauma. I seem to have had. I'm not a victim when I say it, but overall, I had my stepfather sexually abused me physically. My birth father left, and so I was stuck with a mother who dealt with an abusive father. So my grandpa, who was an alcoholic, abusive. In Eastern Europe, it's very typical that abuse was very common, I guess you could say, physical alcoholism. My mom became bipolar with massive suicidal tendencies. So when I was 12, 13, being the only guy, I got the brunt of it because I was that blaming figure. I left, did some yoga to try to figure out myself in Vancouver Island. And then from there, went to New Zealand, and then spent the last 10 years in Australia really understanding why and what. And, going from hypnotherapists, counselors, CBT, to tapping, to Reiki, to Qigong, to your energy management, to your nutrition, really tried to understand the core principles and the roots until after I worked on those areas, I was like, holy bejesus, there's a lot of people around me suffering like myself. And, a couple people, that I knew, their friends committed suicide or family members, people dealing with depression that I had, like, were my best friends, didn't even tell me about it. I'm like, what are you talking about? So it really opened my eyes to doing something. And then I had a hypnotherapist really break free of my mold, I guess you could say, on what I want to try to contribute to society. And that itself is I want to help 1 billion people with their mental health challenges, this platform being one of them.
Good. That's so good. That's so good. Do you feel, well, it sounds like now you've really moved into the self healer in you, getting assistance from the people that supported you, your advocates that were helping you, your practitioners. But also at the same time, you wanted to get to the root core, and you were interested in healing. You were interested in healing. You wanted this. And so that was the beginning. Do you feel like, because I resonate a lot with what you're talking about, as I overcame suicide myself.
Mhm.
So not the shadow of suicide followed me my entire life until about 25 years ago, when
Mhm.
when I really cleared that out and healed that. And so I'm suicide free. So
Mhm.
this is not something that I would ever even consider. As a matter of fact, it's a miracle that I'm standing here talking to you right now. So,
Mhm.
um, do you think that you came in this lifetime to look at all of these traumas, heal all of these traumas, because with everything that you experienced as a young man and then as a young adult?
Can you rephrase that question for me? So just a
So
little bit.
do you feel like you came into this life to heal
Yeah.
this trauma, to face this trauma, to,
Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people that, they're like, man, my life isn't as rough. Like in high school, man, my life isn't as rough as yours. Like, I don't get it. Like, and then I had a couple people like, you're going to do something good with the world. I just didn't know what that was, and I think for me, uh, trauma, like suicide, like when I went through that phase where my mom tried to, kill herself almost every day, every second day, overdose on pills. I made a pact to myself then and there that it's not even not even a question in my mind that I will not, there is no easy road for me for this mental health journey. And it's go through it, figure it out. And there is no quick fix, quick band aid. I take a quick pill and boom, magically I'm cured. So I wanted to work through it.
You wanted to work through it. So
And I
that's,
help others do the same, 100%.
yeah. So that's a big thing. You wanted to work through it. And for a while there, you used gaming as an escape mechanism to deal with what you had to be as a child. My God, you were like,
100%.
that was like probably your saving grace at many times where, you felt alone and didn't have the support that so that was the thing that you went to. And thankfully, you only went to that instead of becoming drinking or alcohol, or it could have been so much worse, that the things that you could have been doing, but you really, you did that. And so then you got involved with yoga and healing modalities. It sounds like you experienced a lot of different healing modalities in order to help yourself on this journey.
100% correct.
Yeah. So what are you doing now with the work that you're doing? You mentioned the beta testing for your community. What is it that you're doing now? Like, where are you living now? Are you still
So
in?
I'm in back in Cal. So from living in Australia for a decade, I went back to Calgary, Alberta, and I really started to put that. My grandma was here; she passed, so that was like, it sealed the nail in the coffin for me. For like, all right, let's get this going, put this all together. And right now, just I'm putting the beta testing together, meeting with a couple nonprofits as well for partnerships, and really trying to talk about mental health in a manner that maybe people may not see it. People, I did a study a couple months ago where people talk about gaming and how it's bad for you. Can be bad if you do it over excessively, but as well, it can be bad if you over drink or drink too much water. However, what I found is that gaming, for some people that aren't outward, gaming is a great way for connection, but as well dealing with stress, and really escape as well too. So as well as the adventure of a new challenge that may not be presented, I guess, in their current environment, in their real environment.
Yeah. So, how can people look you up and find you and the work that you're doing right now?
So pretty much two simple ways on LinkedIn, Krisztian Riez. Just simply look up my name, add me. I'm definitely open. Or on Facebook, there's a group that I've created, which is MB Mental Health or MB Gaming and Mental Health.
Good. I think the work that you're doing is so important, and there's so many people that are dealing with mental health. We at the Cornelia Stephanie Media Group and also at Transformation Talk Radio, we're always doing shows on mental health and well-being and how to live your best life and how to overcome some of the traumas and the challenges that we were born into or that we are faced with. So one of the things that I want the audience to do is go check out Chris's information and definitely go, subscribe to his Facebook and also LinkedIn, but also go to the App Store and download the KS Media Group app. And that is going to support you. Create your free account, get your free ebook, because we have so many ways of to inspire you to support you to live your best life. And there is the universal questions that's posed there every week. But we list people like yourself, Chris, there, which you might want to talk to us about this further, because we publish and list people that are the world's best leading entrepreneurs, the world's best practitioners, the leading world's best educators in their field in our app, so that we can be a one stop, one click, one stop. You know how easy it is when people are on their phone, which they are a lot. So be sure to go subscribe to the KS Media Group app and go check it out and download it on your phone. And thank you so much, Chris, for coming on the show today.
And thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, everybody. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned for more. Welcome back, everyone, to the Cornelia Stephanie Show, Stories of Hope. My next guest today is Payton Lynch. As a child and young adult, Disney storytelling became an important part of her life, teaching her to engage audiences. In her career, she tells stories through the magic of guest engagement as a product manager at the Walt Disney Company. I've been crafting, she says, stories for as long as she can remember, but in 2020, she decided to take the plunge and dedicate herself to writing her first book. Her first book is inspired by her husband and his story as a 9/11 surviving child. His story is one of the 3,000 stories, not including the 2,000 adult-age people who lost a parent that day, and the countless others who have gone on to lose a parent due to 9/11 illnesses that need to be told. She's grateful to John and many others that she's interviewed thus far who have been so willing to share. Welcome to the show, Payton.
Well, thank you so much, Cornelia. I'm happy to be here.
Wow, what an incredible journey. Going from telling stories, you were trained to tell stories. Maybe you want to go a little bit into that and what you love about doing that, getting people engaged through storytelling, because we heal through our stories.
Absolutely. So, yes, my name is Payton Lynch, and one of the biggest things I always tell people is I am a Disney-phile at heart. I've been visiting Walt Disney World Resort since I was a little kid. Very, very fortunate to have had the opportunity to do so often. I'm the oldest of 5, and it was probably the only time that we were all together not fighting. I was on a Disney vacation. So I have such fond memories of my time visiting. And the time that I spent with cast members and just seeing the level of service that they gave each and every one of their guests. And I knew from a young age, I'm like, that I want to be a part of that. It just felt like there was this calling to help others and serve others in this way of, creating magic. And so I didn't know how I was going to get there, but I got there all the same. I applied for a 6-month internship with the company when I had a full-time salary job in Pennsylvania. And I picked up, moved my life down there, and so glad I did, because the skills I've learned, I mean, Disney is a storytelling company, and whether you live in Orlando, Florida, or halfway across the world, there isn't really anywhere that the brand hasn't touched. And so having instilled that into, we all have our own story, but then this shared story of life experience is really what Disney stories, it's what pulls at our heartstrings about Disney stories. So I just tapped into that once I started writing my own book, which I know we'll talk more about. And it's been such a fulfilling experience so far. I've loved my career at the Walt Disney Company, and hope I get to continue it for many years to come.
So you're still at Walt Disney now?
Yes, correct.
And you love it, and it's all good, and it's
Yep.
great.
Yep. And it's a family biz. My husband works here. One of my sisters works here. So we live, eat, breathe the mouse.
Oh my God, that's so fun. Ashley, my VA, is the one that booked you, and she is a big, huge. Did you guys talk about Walt Disney stuff?
We haven't, but now we must, because it's, when you meet someone who has that connection, you always find something to talk about.
She's a big Disney fan. So when I read your bio, I said, oh, this is going to be great. I love that she connected with you. So yeah, definitely you guys have that in common.
Absolutely.
So then that's taking you now from your beautiful career, Disney family business. It's in your blood. You are definitely loving your life. And now you're also writing your first book and telling these stories. Tell us about that.
Sure. So it might seem like an interesting segue, right? Disney cast member, what business does she have writing a book about 9/11? I mean, they're stark contrast in topic and subject matter. But as you had mentioned, it was my husband that inspired me. I'll never forget, on our first date together in 2013, it was in September time, and I didn't think much of it. I didn't know anyone impacted by 9/11, even though I grew up in Allentown, Pennsylvania, which is very close to the area. But he sat me down at dinner and shared the story of how he lost his dad, Robert Henry Lynch Jr. He was a property manager of True World Trade, and was there on the day of 9/11. He was actually outside of the building at the time, and called home, left a voice message that they still have on a cassette tape to this day, saying he was out of the building, he was safe, he loved them, and he would call soon. Unfortunately, that next call never came, because he did go back into the building to save other people's lives, and was honored with a Medal of Valor at the White House in 2005 for his courageous acts. As you can imagine, that is not the story that I imagined he would tell me on this date. I just did not expect that, but was so grateful for him in, his candor and just his vulnerability in that moment. And I knew then, because I had known him for some time through mutual friends, and just in the time that we had been talking, that he's an incredible person. And I'm very biased, right? I did go on to marry the man, but I just knew that he was this incredibly kind, resilient person. And all I could think was, if this were me, I don't think I'd be like that. I think I'd be pretty bitter, angry, sad, all these things. So again, that's sort of the foundation of where this all started. But then 2020 came along, right? I mean, at this point, we've been married for a few years. And this little tiny pandemic thing kind of wreaked havoc on our lives. He was laid off from the Walt Disney Company during that time. I started working completely remote, and at the time, and still are, we were going through a fertility battle that has now brought us 2.5 years of trying to conceive. And I was not handling things well. I was really suffering in the loneliness of infertility, especially feeling so isolated, and we physically couldn't be with other people. And September started coming up. I started thinking about 9/11 and the impact it's had on our family. And I said, you know what? I think there's something I can tap into so that I could actually help myself walk through the grief that I'm going through, to learn from my husband. And maybe there's something to be said. Maybe there's a pattern amongst other people who lost their parents that day too. And what an interesting story to be able to tell about this part of the 9/11 story that really hasn't been told, right? I mean, many of these people were children. Some of the people I did have the opportunity to speak with for the book were under a year old at the time of 9/11 happening. So really grew up, in this time. They're in their 20s now. And so collecting those stories started as a project to just help me navigate the challenge that I'm going through. But I realized that there was something deeper there, that even if you have no connection to 9/11 or infertility, we all have something. We all have a struggle that we're going through. And, maybe there's something that we could collectively learn and grow from.
What a story. What an incredible story. So have you begun writing? You've done all the interviews. Like, where are you in the process of the book?
Yeah. So I have completed all interviews, and the book is published. It did publish in August of this year. And so you can find it on Amazon or barnesandnobles.com, target.com, all those places. It's Rise from the Ashes by Payton Lynch. And in the process of doing that, we were able to raise $5,000 for the Tuesday's Children organization, which was an organization founded out of 9/11 to help support the families and widows of those folks. So we've really made an incredible impact so far in just a few months of being published.
And that's because you followed that intuitive guidance. There's a couple things that you said that I got loud and clear. And that is, you use the word tap into several times in your story. So this is a superpower skill that you have, that you tap into your intuition space, that you tap into what is there because you use that word. So this is something that you do. So that's really awesome. Congratulations on writing a book. I know that's not easy to do. That's a big job to write and complete the project. Congratulations that it's on Amazon and that you've already raised $5,000 and more to come. So how can people, is there a Facebook community? Is there a community of people that you're inspiring with your message?
Absolutely. So you can visit us on paytonlynch.com. If you're interested in a signed copy of the book, we do have proceeds continue to go Tuesday's Children through that. And we do have, it's called Rise Together, the Rise from the Ashes community on Facebook. There we're talking about topics of resilience and how to walk forward. And our North Star goal in the future is to look at how we might be able to get empathy training into schools and organizations so that we can help support other people who are going through these challenging times.
Wow, isn't that something what you're creating? So you've got a full-time career gig and you're trying to get pregnant. How's that going?
We had an IVF retrieval, and we have some M babies, they call them, embryos that are frozen. So we're just waiting for the moment that we can do what they call a transfer, and hopefully we'll be on our way, but much closer. I always say I'm one day closer to my baby each day. So.
Oh my gosh, what an incredible story. You certainly are living the life of your dreams. And so, of course, you're going to make a wonderful mother and a beautiful wife. Thank you so much for coming on the show today and inspiring us. And much success to your book. We're certainly going to go take a look at it. So thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure. And I hope you all have a great day.
Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to the Stories of Hope. We're going to close out this show and then we'll be right back with another series. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show, Stories of Hope. I'm so excited to introduce you right now to our next guest, and that is Cate Schultz. When I was reading Cate's bio, I thought to myself, hey, Cate, where you been all my life? But let me just share this with you. Growing up as the eighth child of 12, Cate had ample opportunity from day one to observe human behavior. Cate started writing while still young and often received recognition for her creative writing skills. After starting her professional career as a teacher of languages with degrees in French and English, she went off on a tangent to own and manage multiple businesses, including a multi-million-dollar medical equipment company, a real estate investment firm, and an FAA certified flight school where she earned her private instrument and commercial pilot licenses. Now she's currently an author of, and still writing other books as well. But the book that she's currently writing is Soul Primer.
Yes, it's called Soul Primer, Building Blocks of the Soul.
Soul Primer, building. That's why I said, where have you been all my life? And you've got the Tree of Life, my logo. You see it here on the screen? Yes, excellent.
And I had a woman paint this cover for me. I actually have the painting up here, the original painting too, but she painted to my design based on a dream and a vision that I'd had. So it's quite a magical book.
Yes, so that's so great. So, and then you've got this, because you and I just met this last 4 days or something like that. We were introduced by a friend, and I happened to have a spot open on the Series of Hope today, and I invited you to come in. But you're also doing a email thing with your Soul Primer. So yeah. we definitely want to get into that a little bit. But let's go back to your story of your life, and just take us through, because you've done a lot of things. And do you feel like everything has prepared you for this time in your life right now?
Absolutely. Coming from such a large family certainly prepared me to, understand people, humanity. And then as a teacher, here's what I've realized, that all of my life, everything I've done, I've been a teacher or a mentor or helping to empower people to be their best selves. So there's that line of continuity that goes through even all the different variety of things that I've done. Now, one of the things that really made me realize how important it was in my life is when I started teaching people how to fly. And I realized how much joy I got from teaching women and teenagers how to fly, because those are the sectors of our society that often feel like they don't have control over their lives. And when a woman would get into an airplane, she'd come in timid and unsure, she'd get into an airplane and she'd solo for the first time. And she would come in a transformed person, because she would realize she wasn't just in control of the dials and the knobs, she was in control of her very survival. Whether she lived to see the next day was in her hands. And you could just see the power, flowing out of her after that experience. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's what I want to do all my life, is to empower people to step into their own greatness, really.
Yeah. And so you're doing that. So I just want to, say that I've dated several pilots, and so one of them, yeah, I know, but one of them, but it's all good. One of them told me, he was a helicopter pilot, and he told me that women are much better pilots. And also they are much easier to teach how to fly than men. Yes. So I thought that was an interesting observation based on what you just said right there.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think we're realizing that women can do a lot of things really well. And I want to say I have 3 grown sons. I love men, but I think as women step into their own power, boy, it makes a better world for everybody, men and women.
Yes. So, talking about, did you say 9th of 12? 8th. Okay. So, that's a lot of siblings. Now, are you the only one in your family that is doing this line of work?
Absolutely. In fact, I'm the only one that went to college. I'm the only one that's traveled around the world. I'm the only one really that broke free and bless their hearts. My family was a sort of small town parochial family. I was actually brought up. My parents told me that a woman's place is at the home, taking care of her husband and children. And so for me to go off and do the things I did was sort of revolutionary. And so, yeah, I'm the only one who did that.
Yeah. So do you feel, between you and I, do you feel that you were the one that came in to lift the ancestral lineage in the family and raise and break those limitations and raise the lineage up to a new beginning?
Well, I wish I could say that I felt like I had done that. I don't know that I mean, maybe in a spiritual, more ethereal way, I've done that within my own siblings and stuff. I don't know that I've had that much of an impact because they're, still sort of in their mold. But, they say that we're all put into a family for a reason. So, I mean, I do think that having the challenges that I had, because I grew up in a very poor family, I started working when I was 12. And not easy work. I mean, other people were going on vacations. I was working on weekends and after school. I worked full time my senior year in high school. So not to, I don't like to go, I don't want a big pity party, but those challenges made me stronger. Right. And all my life, it's the challenges that I put in front of myself and the challenges that the universe has presented me that have made me stronger. Yeah. So I'm grateful for those.
Yeah. Even though, our family may not know what it is, us healing the ancestral lineages, but we, the ones that on a soul level, we know that we came here to really heal all of the traumas and the poverty and all of the grief from our past, and that to rise above that. So this is basically, back then they used to call us what is it, black sheep?
Yeah.
Right, that black sheep, or you're the one that stands out. You're unique, and you're breaking all the rules, and you're rising above out of the programs.
Yeah, my mom looks at me and she says, "Where did you come from?" and honestly, though, as far as a family, I mean, for me, my family is much wider now. It's the many beautiful souls that I've met in the world, and it is people at large. And I do feel like there was a reason I was put here, and that mission is to save the whole family. I mean, it sounds meaning the whole world, and it sounds grandiose, but I really strongly feel like that I have a mission to do my part to save the world. I mean, I honestly think we all need to save the world, but I certainly feel that I feel my responsibility strongly.
Yeah, it's wonderful when we really fully embody the vision and the mission and stand in that, because that's the thing that's going to be getting you out of bed in the morning and you're excited. It's going to really help you to thrive and get your message out, which that's what inspires, right? What inspires you, what it inspires the change, the ripple in the pond.
Absolutely.
So I want to talk about the tangent that you went on. Okay. when you because first of all, so you've been working since you were young, and then you became an entrepreneur, crazy with everything that you were doing. So all of that, again, getting you ready for this next level to bring all your wisdom into this spot now where you are today, and realize your mission. Mm-hmm. Right. So it's a big project. So
and when you look back, you realize, sometimes, I've had so many crazy things happen in my life and adventures and stuff. And I look back, or sometimes at the time I think, wow, this is so weird. Why is this happening? And then I look back and I go, okay, I understand, because that path led me to where I am now.
Yes. Yeah. And everything prepared you for this now. So that's because you said, in the bio, you were talking about how you went on that tangent and how you were owning multiple businesses, including a multi-million-dollar medical company, a real estate investment firm. So what was all that? Do you feel like this was all part of your preparation for this work that you're doing today?
Well, it was yes and no. I mean, it was because it taught me how to work with people. It taught me managing that many employees at once, taught me how to work with employees. I mean, I had employees tell me I was the best boss they've ever had. So, I mean, bit by bit, I was compiling the tools and the experiences that I needed to do really my most important work, which is this, honestly, Kornelia. This is, out of everything I've done, except for maybe having my 3 children, birthing this book is the most important thing I've done today.
When did this book come into?
So I have I'll try to make it a quick story. So in December of 2017, I had a dream, And in the dream, I had to go to the bathroom. So I went into the bathroom. But when I got into the bathroom, I realized I didn't actually need to go to the bathroom. I needed to give birth. So I climbed into the tub. When I looked up, there was a red fox sitting on the floor looking at me. And then the dream ended. Simple dream, weird dream. We all have weird dreams. But for some reason, this one was super powerful in my mind. And as I was thinking about it, this other vision that I had had like 4 years prior of a white tree of life on a magical green background with the infinity sign in the trunk and a white sign on it came into my mind. So I knew the two were matched together, but I didn't know why. But anyway, 2 weeks later, I started writing Soul Primer.
Okay, wow.
And when I looked up what red fox means, because I study shamanism also, and shamans believe that animals are linked to the spirit world. And when an animal comes to you in an unusual way, and red foxes had never really been particularly, present in my life. They have a story, something to tell you. They mean something. They have a message. They have a medicine. So the medicine of red fox is, it is about the awakening of the feminine energies and how those creative energies can positively transform a shape-shifting world. And so
transform, what did you say?
A shape-shifting world.
You froze there on the screen, so it looks like we had there you go. Positively transform what?
A shape-shifting world.
Okay.
I thought, so I was well into the book. It took me about 2 years to write it. At that time, when I finally looked up red fox, and I thought, okay, that's got to be the cover. Because it was this, and I will say that this book was kind of downloaded to me.
Yeah.
Because so what, can I explain real briefly what it is? Yeah.
Yes, we have time.
So it's an ABC book for adults, but it's great to use with children as well. And it's basically where each of the 26 letters of the alphabet is assigned to a concept that you practice for 1 week. And it comes out of really my life coaching and my teaching and my mentoring, all those years of the different things that I did when I started to become aware that most of us are walking around really without the skills or the tools to live a trouble-free life. I mean, just look at the numbers of people that go to see therapists and counselors for, depression and anxiety and fearfulness and all of that, because we haven't been taught these tools. We're taught to read and write, but we're not taught the tool. We're not taught to practice empathy. We're not taught to practice hope, and hope is practicable. It's not like just you got it or you don't. You can practice it. We're not taught to practice joy or fearlessness. And I thought, again, from my life coaching, I thought, how can I make it easy and accessible? Because, the truck drivers and the waitresses and the busy working people of the world, people with family, don't have time to read whole books or do big webinars or, so how can I make it easy and accessible? So I thought, I'm going to make this ABC book. For each letter, I have a concept, like, for example, A is for abundance. Who doesn't want more abundance? B is for beauty, which is not about being beautiful. It's about seeing beauty in everyone that we meet. And for each, so let's say Sunday, you open up your page to your new letter, and that week, and then you read the letter, the 1 page of text. Everybody has time to read 1 page of text. And there's an exercise at the bottom that you practice for 1 week. So you just leave this open on your breakfast table or whatever. And you practice that 1 exercise just to raise your awareness of each of those concepts that really cumulatively will transform your life. And that's what my readers are telling me. It's transforming their life in such an easy way, such a gentle way. And so that my goal really on the micro level is to help people live trouble-free lives. But on the macro level, I think that we all need to be practicing these skills if we want to have a transformed world. I don't think that, a new policy or a new plan or a new government is ever going to transform our world, ever. I think it's going to mean every single one of us stepping up and doing the work to transform our life so that all together we can transform our world.
Yes. And it really involves the daily practice. It
Yes.
involves the practice of, something to align with that's positive, that's natural, that's organic.
Yes.
Every single day, so that you can release and let go of the negativity, of the trauma, of the pain, of the grief, of the sadness that's not that's not true, that's not who you
Yeah.
are, that you can release that, but you have something to practice and align with on a daily basis, right?
And it's interesting because this book came out in at the end of February 2020, right about the same time that COVID hit the scene. So I did my very first book talk and book signing at the end of February, and then all the bookstores closed.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah.
they were closed for a long time, and they're not. A lot of them still don't do events and whatnot. But anyway, and I thought, oh gosh, that's a interesting time for an author to have her new book come out. But then I thought the timing is perfect, as all things are. The
Right.
timing is perfect because it's needed now more than ever. I mean, I talk to so many people that are struggling with, they're just a little bit down, and is it any wonder? I mean, you think about, we have so much destabilization going on in our life. I mean, we have, just touch on the negative so that you can find where the hope is. But, we have COVID, which is really attacking our personal stability, our personal safety and security. And then right now we have the political situation in our own country and really in many countries that's destabilizing not just our own country, but the world. What we thought of as a rock of democracy is like a little shaky now. And then we have climate change that's destabilizing the earth, the planet, and it's like, sometimes it feels like, oh my gosh, it's a lot. And so, like you said, it's the practice. We have to practice to manage that. And these tools help us get through those times and help us learn to manage the instability. And the beautiful thing is that shaking us through this process can create a great foundation for us to build a new reality.
Yeah.
And so I think the book arrived at the perfect time.
Yes, the book arrived at the perfect time. Exactly. It did. And because again, like even you coming on this show right now, right? That was another one of those perfect time events.
Yes.
Where you were able to come here and share with us your passion, your book, with also you're snowed in Leavenworth, right?
Yeah.
And who would have thought that it was going to turn out like this? But again, the internet that we have where we can connect with each other. So I think that's beautiful.
Well, I after it had been out for about a year, I thought, I guess I should make some effort to try and promote it more than I do. I know I have that responsibility. So I sent it to Deepak Chopra and was very surprised that he contacted me and said he wanted to interview me, that he was interested in the book. So I was like, oh, that's great. So we had an interview. It was about a year ago. And he said, I highly recommend that people read this book. He said, you touch on all of the spiritual elements that we need to be practicing. I mean, okay, that's a pretty big endorsement, and he picked out a couple of them that were just super powerful, but he said every single one of them, none of them are off the mark. Every single one of them is on the mark. So anyway.
Well, did you sell a lot of books?
I've sold quite a few books. The funny thing about this book, Kornelia, is that people buy one and then they come back and they buy multitudes. I mean, the gal who introduced us.
Yes.
I guess I can say this. I think she's listening. I think she's bought over 30 books now because she's given them to all her sisters and her friends and her nieces and then another gal has bought, I don't know, 26, I think. And she gave them to all her neighbors and all her, same deal, all her family and friends. So I probably have more than couple handfuls of people that have bought over 20 and a handful that have bought over 30 books to give away, which I think is phenomenal.
That's actually the new way. I really feel like that is the new way. It's an organic way. It is, a person having a personal experience and then saying and giving it as gifts or saying to another person or in the community or in the church or in the group, saying here, everyone, these are the books that, that are going to change your life, that are going to help you. Yeah. I really feel like this is how, we're going to be selling more of our services, our books, our programs in this way.
Yeah. And I think that's so important. I'm writing the second one. So I'm thinking that I should try to get some more firepower. I didn't even try to take this to a publisher, which I probably should. But, I thought, like you said, I kind of was going to just let it grow organically.
Well, one of the things I want to do is right off the bat, have you come back, but also introduce you to my group, KS Media Group. And also, while we're talking about the KS Media Group, is I want everyone to go and download the app on your phone. And that includes you, Cate.
Okay,
and
I did already.
Good. Okay, great. Then you'll see when you download the app, you're going to see the Tree of Life. So right away, we're aligned with our messaging. My mission is heaven on earth. And so heaven on earth already exists within my own being, because for the last decade, step by step, what does heaven on earth mean to me through my retreat, through my writing, through my sessions, through all the different things. And now it's an embodiment. And when you own that energy, when you own your soul and you're listening to the soul's promptings, that's why I love that you called your book Soul Primer, is priming the soul. That's a powerful name. That's a powerful title.
Well, I have to tell you, the name of the second one is Soul Primer, Becoming a Spiritual Warrior. Soul Primer 2, Becoming a Spiritual Warrior. And, because that's the next step. I mean, it's one thing to nourish our own soul. And then the next step is really, like you were saying, go out and help our neighbors and, share it with other people.
Yes.
Become that warrior to make a change in the world.
That's really good. I'm so excited that you're going to do the next book too.
Yeah.
So, do you have your website present?
Present, like right now, or up?
What's your website?
It's Cate Schultz, CateSchultzAuthor.com.
So Jacob, can you pull up that website just so that we can show it to the audience? CateSchultz.com.
CateSchultzAuthor.com. Yeah, you can also do soul-primer.com. Both of them they go to different pages on the website. But so that's great. It's exciting that I would love to hear more about what you do.
Yes, absolutely. I definitely think that you would be a wonderful, because in our app, I list the leading world's best practitioners in their field of influence in the app. So we are the new house.
Yeah,
we are the one stop, where people are going to go to get the best healing modalities, the best tools. We also inspire the public to journal with us, because our app has a journal as well. And so basically every single week we do the universal question. So this week's universal question is, what if you said yes to your soul's desire? And then go in and answer that question, journal that question. And every week we pose a new question. But we have so many podcasts and so many meditations and so many ways in to engage the audience, to have that daily support, And you would be a wonderful practitioner listed in our app, simply because with your Soul Primer book, with what you're doing right now with this work.
I would love to.
Definitely that's one of the things. And then also we have, in our community, we have so many podcasters, that people that have worked with me, that I've groomed and that I've helped them grow their brand with podcasting and video marketing. So they're all podcasting and successful, doing their works, getting their messages out. Nice. So when people come into our community, you circle around.
That was the exact word, community. That's exactly what it sounds like. And that's, as we, I think, are all realizing, that's what's so important now as we move forward, to build those communities.
Yeah. Did you know that I'm a number 22? So I was born on October 22nd. So master builder, this was not an easy vibration to integrate and be and live. I had very, very traumatic life, and it's a miracle that I'm here. So, but again, the Soul Primer work, listening to the promptings of my soul, actually got me out of the corporate world.
Yes.
When I first heard my soul say to me, at the time I didn't know it was the soul, but I heard the soul say to me, do you want to live like this for the rest of your life?
Oh, that's funny. My soul said the same thing. Literally the same thing.
Wow, we're probably from the same soul group. So
I know. And then in the middle of the night, it kept saying to me, go to the ocean. One night when I was just kind of lost, I literally got up at 3:00 in the morning and drove all the way to the ocean the Pacific Ocean, and stayed there for about 3 days.
Well, we're going to become fast friends. I definitely see you in our community. So we're going to see much more of you, Cate Schultz. Thank you for showing up.
Yes, Cornelia, I forgot. Can I just real quickly say, anyone who either buys a book or even don't buy the book, I don't care. I'd love for you to have it, but anybody can access the email support program, which is a really robust addition to, if you're studying empathy, you get a couple emails that week that go even deeper into the concept. So just reach out to me through my website and you can sign up for that.
And what we want to do, we're going to put this on YouTube, but then Cate, when you post it on your social media, also underneath, when we're promoting it on social media, put the email sign up form right underneath the intro on the book. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Put that information there. So it's all there. People can just click on it then.
Okay.
So anyway, thank you so much, my dear. It was an awesome pleasure to meet you today. That's why I said, where have you been all my life?
Well, we're gonna get to know each other better, I hope.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, everybody. We're gonna close this series today. Thanks, Cate. Everybody go get Soul Primer, and we'll see you again on the next show. Stay tuned.
You've been listening to the Kornelia Stephanie Show, Wake Up to Love, your call to action. Tune in each week on Transformation Talk Radio. Kornelia's joy is to engage others in practical ways, showing us how to live in the new earth in harmony with our true nature. For more information on Kornelia and her extraordinary work, or to listen to past shows, go to her website at korneliastephanie.com.